I'm trying to decide in my head which Best Picture romance I preferred, Elio and Oliver in Call Me By Your Name, or Eliza and the amphibian in The Shape of Water. That's a tough one. One involves masturbation with fruit, and the other involves some interspecies bestiality. But either way, the fact that I love them both really says something about me as a person. Hey guys, so today's film up for discussion is the 2018 Best Picture winner, The Shape of Water, which is directed by the lovable Guillermo Del Toro, who gave the world the hauntingly beautiful Pan's Labyrinth. The script is written by Del Toro and Vanessa Taylor and boasts an impressive cast which includes Sally Hawkins, Shannon, Richard Jenkins, Octavia Spencer, and the unknown to many, but you've definitely seen him before in stuff like Buffy, Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy, and that is DougJones as the amphibian. This was the most Academy Award nominated film of the year, racking up an impressive 13 nominations and ended up winning 4. Those included Best Picture, Best Director, Best Production Design, and Best Score for Alexandre Desplat. Set during the paranoid Cold War era of 1960s America, more specifically Baltimore though, the film is about a mute cleaning lady called Eliza who works for this Occam Aerospace Research Facility, and she forges an unlikely kinship with the facility's most top-secret asset, this amphibian creature, which is played by DougJones, who was captured from the South American rivers by the detestable agent Richard Strickland, who is played by Shannon. Strickland wants to experiment on the creature because it has 2 respiratory systems, meaning it can breathe in and out of water, which Strickland might think might be the key to helping them win the whole race to space that's happening with the Soviets. But Eliza can't stand by whilst her friend is cruelly being experimented on, so she hatches a plan to break him out, along with the help of her pie enthusiast homosexual neighbour Giles, who's played by Richard Jenkins, her sassy work friend Zelda, played by Octavia Spencer, and an empathetic scientist called Dr. Hofstadler, who is played by Michael Stuhlbarg. This film really is beautiful. I saw it back in October at the BFI Film Festival, and I recently saw it again after it won Best Picture at the Oscars, and it's just as wonderful on a second time viewing. Not often do fantasy films win Best Picture at the Oscars. I believe the last time it happened was for The Lord of the Rings: Return of the King back in 2004. But it's very difficult not to be absorbed by the whimsy and the romance of this film. This film could have easily alienated its audience when people found out it was a romance between a woman and what is essentially the creature from the Black Lagoon. But much like Guillermo del Toro's love for B-movie monsters, he totally convinces you of this unorthodox pairing. If the amphibian is the King Kong of this film, then Eliza is the Andara of the story. From adorable egg-feeding beginnings to apartment-flooding copulation, there is no moment whilst watching this film where the connection doesn't feel real. There's an electricity between them which evolves organically and believably whilst we watch the film. Sally Hawkins gives a career-best performance as Eliza. It's a big gamble to have a story be guided by a character which has no voice, but Hawkins rises to the occasion here and delivers a completely transfixing performance as Eliza. It's a testament to her abilities as an actress because even without speaking, she manages to convey an entire spectrum of emotions throughout this film using just sign language, body language, facial expressions, but particularly her eyes. She gives this really touching monologue about how she feels incomplete, but when she's with the amphibian creature, she feels whole, and it's just so lovely. The amphibian's her missing puzzle piece. This will be one of her performances that she is remembered for the most. Shannon makes for a fun, albeit slightly caricatured baddie. His Strickland is a candy-chewing, Cadillac-driving, misogynistic menace, but he's still compelling and intimidating. Octavia Spencer managed to get herself another Best Supporting Actress nomination for her work as Zelda in this film. Personally, I didn't think it was the most powerful Octavia Spencer performance we've had, and I don't think the nomination was completely deserved, but she does have one scene towards the end in her house, which, much like Sally Hawkins' character, doesn't speak much, but does a lot with her eyes, and it's very impressive. And Richard Jenkins and Michael Stuhlbarg also give superb supporting character performances, respectively, and they're 2 actors that don't often get enough love, but yeah, they do bring a lot to this film, and they give the film its soul, I'd say, because they represent compassion and empathy, and they're just 2 very well explored characters. What's most impressive about The Shape of Water is how all of its elements work in tandem with each other. The whistling score by Alexandre Desplat complements the grimy practical sets. The costumes and lighting choices all have a slightly green tinge to them, which brings all the visual elements together. Even the writing does a beautiful job of blending so many different genres together. At the core, this is a fantasy film, but it also has a B-movie horror vibe to it sometimes. It mixes sci-fi with some nostalgia for the golden age of Hollywood, so the film itself does have a real classic vibe to it. And then there's the unlikely romance between Eliza and the amphibian, which gives the film its heart. Guillermo Del Toro has done a stellar job of stitching all these elements together, so the end product does feel very seamless. In the end, guys, The Shape of Water is a gorgeously crafted film. I wouldn't say it's better than Pan's Labyrinth, but it does have the same feeling of absorption that makes Guillermo del Toro's work so engrossing. I love that the cast of characters were all sort of representative of all those that were silenced back in this oppressive period in history. So you've got the disabled with Eliza being mute, you've got Giles, who's a homosexual, you've got Zelda, who's an African American, and then you've got the slightly effeminate man, who's played by Michael Stuhlbarg as the scientist Dr. Hofstadter. Unless you were a straight white male back in that time, you were kind of invisible. So if you've ever felt marginalized or different, then you will find yourself connecting with one or more of these characters. So let's ask those 3 questions. Would I watch this again? Well, the fact that I've already seen it twice in cinemas is proof of that already. Would I recommend that you guys go watch it? Yes, this feels like one of those films that you've fallen asleep and somehow wandered into a dream or a fairy tale. It all bleeds together in this beautiful fashion. And this is a film that could have easily fallen apart, but Guillermo del Toro's stellar direction keeps it all feeling very cohesive, and it is just beautiful to watch. It's like a grown-up's version of Beauty and the Beast. And what score do I give it out of 10? Well, I think on first viewing I was going to give this a 10 out of 10, but having watched it again, I have picked up on a few flaws which do bother me a little bit, and that comes down to some of the pacing in the film, and also a few of the characterizations could have been explored a little bit better, particularly Octavia Spencer's Zelda and Michael Shannon's Strickland. So yeah, for those minor quibbles, I'm going to bring it down slightly and give The Shape of Water a 9.5 out of 10. Still a very respectable score and definitely one you should go see. And my quick question for you guys today is, what did you think of The Shape of Water? Did you think it was a worthy Best Picture winner? Or was there someone else that you think should have won Best Picture this year? Whatever you think, I'd love to know. Let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, if you do like these videos, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, okay? Thanks so much for watching, guys. For more things related to movies, TV, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Iffield, and I'll see you next time.